Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole, the mommy blogger with balls, the inconvenient truth of health. Oh boy, what's up, everybody? How in the heck is it going today? It's Christmas here in A-Hole Studios. Everything is very festive. We open the windows, so those are our Christmas lights, and the Christmas lights will be coming down at about 4:07 Eastern time, because that's when the sun goes down. And at that point, we just all fall back into a post-Christmas, just before New Year's depression, where, you know, the year is ending and you got to look back and you be like, what the hell did I do this year? Some people are freaking out going, it was the worst year ever. 2018 was the worst year ever. Meanwhile, they could afford a ticket to go back to their family's house, wherever they're from, and have a beautiful Christmas dinner and then return home to their full-time employment job that is under no threat of going anywhere, and then go out to brunch and still complain about how things are. Which brings me to the topic of today, which is really fucking ass-backwards priorities and just straight-up tomfuckery during the holidays, especially when it comes to how much people pretend to give a shit about the less fortunate during Christmas. Now, I've struggled with this Christmas episode, even though it's going to come out the day after Christmas, because I didn't know, did I want to do an episode where I did this kind of like social justice warrior thing about how evil Christmas is and it's all capitalism? And no, I don't want to do that, because quite frankly, I love capitalism. I cheer it on. I hope to benefit from it one day. I hope to be a multi-billionaire and then, leave this country so the government can't take my taxes and never look back. So I don't care. Of course, yes, corporations are evil. You know, they're putting all the fucking, shit out there, and it's under the guise of being some religious holiday, and it's really just about hitting end of year quotas, okay? That's how I feel. I don't care, though. Go enjoy your Christmas. Go be with your family. Whatever the excuse is to just be with your loved ones, that's fine. But let's not, pretend like this is about more than that, Specifically, what triggered this podcast was I was watching a football game. I was watching my oh-so-shitty Arizona Cardinals, the worst team in the National Football League this year. For the first time I've watched their games, I just could not get to the end of many games because they're so bad and unwatchable. But they'll get the first draft pick in the draft, so that's exciting. But I was watching the game. Me and the lovely Miss A-Hole, she was doing her work and she was just kind of listening, and we're watching the game. And of course, the game before Christmas or Christmas Eve, everything is all about Christmas. This time of year is a big time of year to remember the less fortunate, and everything's about remembering the less fortunate. And it's like they just really jam it down your face in the name of corporate interest, right? Go give to this charity, give to that charity. You want to go to the homeless shelter by your house and go give the homeless people a cooked meal? Do it, fine. But let's stop pretending that you give a shit. You're only doing it for vanity. You're doing it for the Instagram photo. You're not doing it because you care about homeless people. You do it one time a year, which is this time of year. And of course, the announcer, they were talking about, I think it was, I don't remember which team, but they were saying well, he's decided that every time he catches a touchdown pass, he will donate $10,000 to charity. And then the other announcer goes, well, that's very important, especially this time of year at Christmas time. And again, it's like, oh, it's important that we give to charity only at Christmas time. It's important that we go feed the homeless only at Christmas time. It's important that we do all this stuff for other people at Christmas time. But the other 51 weeks of the year, they can go fuck themselves. Right? That's how we feel about the less fortunate in this country. We want to pretend like that's not how we feel, and I'm plenty guilty of it, all right? I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. I live in New York City, bro. I live in New York City. If you don't live in New York City, you are not subject in your face to all the homelessness around you all the time. Literally, people walking up and asking you for money. And I've heard every single sob story. I've watched people without legs and arms and holding babies in their arms talking about how, they just got kicked out of the hospital, or they just lost their job, or they got nowhere to sleep, or they're in drug recovery, or whatever it is. I've heard every single reason as to why people need money. And most of the time, I give these people nothing, okay? It's not because I'm cold-hearted. It's just because there's 8 billion people on the planet. 8 billion people. And the sad fact is I think, half of them are fucking less fortunate, Half the people don't have enough, food to eat or money or water. I mean, there's people who live in countries where they don't even have water to drink, There's people living in Yemen and Syria and Afghanistan and, parts of Africa and probably parts of Asia and all these different places where they're literally ducking bullets every single day. Their genitals are being mutilated. They haven't had food to eat for months. I mean, they're literally eating dirt. There's actual slave trade still happening, and yet some fucking person comes on the subway and they just lost their job, and I'm supposed to give them a fucking dollar or a smile? Why? Because they fucking made a few left turns that didn't work out in their life and made the wrong decisions. By the way, not to shit on the homeless, but the homeless are homeless for a reason. Okay, if you're in your 40s and your 50s and you're homeless, it's because you've made a series of wrong decisions to get there. It wasn't just one thing you were unfortunate. Yes, I understand. If you're in Indonesia and a volcano is erupting and there's a fucking landslide, 80 miles under the earth or whatever it is, and triggers a fucking tsunami that engulfs your entire hometown and everyone is dead, your house is gone. Yes, I understand. That is an unfortunate thing. A natural disaster, a hurricane or tornado, something like that. Yes, my heart goes out, and I will do anything I can in my charitable spirit to give to those people. But if you walk in front of me and you go, I just lost my job, I'm unfortunate, I'm just coming off drugs, I'm a vet, I'm all this. I empathize. My heart goes out to you. I feel your pain in my holistic heart. I want to show love any way I can, but I can't give money to every single person who comes up to me and asks for money. I can't give money to all the causes. There's a million causes right now. There's little children with fucking autism. There's little children with cancer. There's little children who have, terminal illnesses that will never get a chance to get out of the hospital. There's fucking people that have been struck with just the terrible, most worst diseases. They need attention more than your dumbass. I'm sorry, more than your less fortunate, not dumb, that's mean, but less fortunate. Sorry, I got caught up in the moment. Less fortunate ass, right? And then so now everybody at Christmas time wants to make it about, on one hand, we have to make sure we take care of the less fortunate, especially at Christmas time, because everybody around us is at the Christmas parties and the holiday parties, and there's a million commercials for Miller Lite and Bud Light and getting your Christmas turkeys and all the cookies, and it's the holiday season, so go out there and make sure you buy all the shit. Make sure you go to Walmart and just upturn the fucking store like a goddamn LA riot. Go at fucking Black Friday, wait in the parking lot at 1 a.m, or actually not even that, at 10 at night, because now workers are going to work on Thanksgiving night for Black Friday starting sometime in the wee hours of the morning. So you can flip that bitch upside down and get a 42-inch TV that's, $200 less than it was at retail price, right? This is what let's not lie, this is what the holidays is about. Oh, and then somehow between all of that, I have to let's remember there's people less fortunate than you. Oh, then make me feel guilty. First sell me shit and then make me feel guilty for buying it. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to buy your shit, or do you want me to take my money and just give it to fucking homeless people? Make up your goddamn mind. And you know why you can't make up your mind? It's because you don't care. You don't care. You have to do this thing, the fucking mainstream corporate bullshit, whether it's media, whether it's corporations or stores, whoever it is, pharmaceuticals, hey, you don't want to be without your Paxil this time of year. You don't want to be the one sad person on Christmas. Don't let your depression, don't let cholesterol keep you from enjoying a Christmas. Go get your Lipitor. Hey, want to make sure you remember this Christmas? Go get your dementia medication. Right? Oh, but don't stop eating your cookies. Don't stop eating all the chocolate. Don't stop eating all the delicious Christmas food that isn't for Christmas. It's for that Goldilocks zone between somewhere between the week before Thanksgiving all the way up until the new year. When all of a sudden you jump into a snap decision January 1st at 6 o'clock in the morning when you wake up from a sugar fucking insulin drop crisis and wonder, and you're shaking and you're vomiting because you probably drank too much the night before, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be the year that I'm going to finally get in shape. I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to start doing Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers. I'm going to start counting my calories. And for a day, you decide to starve yourself. Right? And then a week later, you're off that shit altogether. You're like, I'm never going to lose weight. Whatever bad health crisis comes my way, I'll just deal with it. Right? And that means repeating the cycle all over again. Why? Because you got caught up in the moment. This is what happens every year. Every year. And then in the midst of all that, I got to remember that there's people less fortunate than me. Well, guess fucking what? There's a lot of people less fortunate than me. In fact, the people who are more fortunate than me are less fortunate than me. Here's what you do. You just find gratitude. You just find, this is the thing people don't have right now, right? That is so desperately needed. You find the gratitude, right? Be grateful for the shit you have. Not for the shit you don't have. Not for the shit that other people don't have. But be grateful for the shit that you have. And you will find that nice, gooey place in you that will be like, yes, there are people less fortunate than me. And you know what? You won't think of them just at Christmas time. You'll think of them all throughout the year. And maybe you'll give to those charities. Maybe you'll look a little bit outside yourself and say, I want to provide service for other people. How can I do that? And then you start volunteering your time, believe it or not, in months like April and May and August and February and March, when nobody's paying attention, when you're not going to take an Instagram photo with some homeless guy and some, wounded vet missing a leg in a fucking wheelchair, and that way you can get 40-something likes and all your friends are like, man, that Jenny or fucking Craig, Jenny Craig or Craig Jenny is a real upstanding human being, because here they are making a difference at Christmas time. If you do charity work with a Santa hat on, you're a piece of garbage. That's how I feel, because you don't do that shit any other time throughout the year, right? It's Christmas time. I'm getting all the stuff that I want. I get a nice big fat dinner on Christmas Eve and Christmas. I'm going to go get presents for people, and I'm going to get presents myself. And while I'm doing all that, I'm going to go to a fucking soup kitchen, right? I don't know how homeless people eat other than Christmas. I don't see how that happens, dude. I don't see how that happens, because I only see people at soup kitchens and all the homeless shelters on Christmas time and Thanksgiving time. So where do we go from here? This shit fires me up, dude. It fires me up because you know what it is? It's Instagram. It's Instagram kindness, right? We're all just doing it so we can take an Instagram picture and pretend like, oh, here we are. Here we care. You don't care. It's okay to not care, by the way. It's totally fine to not care. I mean, again, there's 330 million people in this country, right? You can't help everybody. You can't, and you don't want to. Right? All you need to do is just worry about yourself, right? Don't become one of the statistics. Don't become one of the Alzheimer's statistics. Don't become one of the heart disease statistics. Don't become one of the cancer statistics. Don't become one of all of these chronic disease statistics. Oh, and don't let your kids become one of the chronic disease statistics. Research vaccines. Research the nutrition that you give to your kids. Research what happens to them every single time you feed them refined sugar. Research what happens every time you give your kids trans garbage fat. Research every time what happens when you cook food in canola oil, and when you fucking let them eat cotton candy and ice cream and muffins and cake, and you take them to Dunkin' Donuts and you get them fucking frappuccinos when they're 5-6 years old. That's goddamn child abuse, right? Right? You want to talk about the less fortunate? Think about your kid who's going to have fucking type 2 diabetes before he's 16. Think about that shit. right? Think about the life that you're setting them up for. Just a life of just never-ending hospital bills and visits, you know? So by the time they're 25, they've already had some tragic fucking surgery, right? Maybe they lose a toe, neuropathy. Maybe they have a hysterectomy. Maybe they get some kind of cancer they deal with. Why? Because you could not handle your shit, right? Because you're too busy trying to get your Instagram photo going to the goddamn soup kitchen on Christmas time, okay? I'm sorry. The inconvenient truth of health, I got to be the bearer of this bad news. I don't like the fucking facts of this shit. But the fact is, this is what's happening in the world. We don't just have a childhood obesity epidemic. We have a childhood going into adult health care crisis, okay? Catastrophe, okay? This is what's going on. If this wasn't happening, I wouldn't be here. Right? I would be off just being, stupid and, out and about, just living and, Christmas caroling and, looking at the tree and watching college football. And, I don't even have TV because this is what the shit is that's important to me. I don't got time to give to the goddamn homeless. I got to figure out how to fucking help the next generation of kids from not completely collapsing our entire fucking system in America, I know most of you don't care about this stuff. I know most people don't care about this stuff, but somebody has to. Somebody has to. Because if we just continue to pretend like it's not a problem, just keep eating your Christmas cookies. It's okay to eat Christmas cookies just this time of year, because immediately following this time of year is the year that, boom, fucking gloves on. Everything's getting done now. Everything changes. 2018 was supposed to be the year. 2018 was a disaster for most of you. For most of you, you could not get off of your goddamn phones. You could not stop scrolling through Twitter and worrying about the next tweet that Donald Trump says. And at the end of the year, what's he doing? He's bringing home all the goddamn troops. He's bringing money back to the country because they're not going to send billions of dollars every year, killing fucking people 10,000 miles away from here. Right? This is what you're worried about. And meanwhile, your health has gone to absolute shit. You're sitting here like, oh my God, the less fortunate. No, worry about yourself. Have some goddamn gratitude and some self-love. Okay. This was a pretty wild rant. It's just, I get fired up at Christmas time. Maybe it's because I'm Jewish and I never really had Christmas, and I'm seeing like everyone in my family now celebrate Christmas, and it kind of bothers me a little bit because it's like, what is the point of being Jewish now if we're just going to celebrate Christmas? Christmas isn't even about religion. It's not about anything other than just, eating and buying shit. That's all it's about. Right? Again, I'm not going to go social justice warrior on you talking about how shitty Christmas is, because quite frankly, I love Christmas. All right? I really love Christmas. I can't not love Christmas. But let's be real about this stuff. We don't care. We don't care about less fortunate people. We only care about ourselves. Okay? So if you want to show me that you don't not just care about yourself, then show yourself some goddamn love. Show yourself some love by making the world a better place. Get your diet together. Get your goddamn priorities together. And stop pretending that you're this great person just for fucking social media. Blah. All right. Hey, look, it's Christmas Day here. Miss A-Hole's whipping up a nice Christmas dinner for us here because I'm Jewish and I need to have a nice Christmas dinner. That's tradition. All right. I don't think this podcast made a lot of sense, but maybe you got something out of it. I hope you did. If you enjoyed the podcast, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave a review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can do either one. Make sure you join the Holistic A-Holes Facebook group. And look out for the new Holistic A-Hole podcasts and videos coming out on YouTube. Make sure you join the Holistic A-Hole on YouTube. So I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks so much for listening. Have a happy holidays, a happy new year. And I'll probably talk to you before New Year. But if I don't, I love you in my holistic heart. Peace.